Peach? What are you doing over there? Hey, it's Peach. Settle down. Hey, it's Marley. Welcome back to my channel. Today, let's do my August TBR. So today I'm going to be sharing my August reading plans, and we're also going to be finding out what 3 of the books are going to be. I have a few books already planned, but then we are going to be using my tarot deck to figure out the last 3 books. So I'll get to that later in the video, but to start out, there's one book that's going to be my book club book with my friends. It's going to be The Wedding People by Alison Espach. This has been a pretty popular book lately, so it came onto my book club's radar. It's a contemporary book about this girl, or this woman, who goes to this inn. She is not in a very good mental state. She kind of goes to this inn alone, and she has a certain plan for what she's going to do there, but then she finds out that this wedding is going on at the inn, and they've kind of taken over the whole place, and she gets mistaken as one of the guests. So she ends up going to the wedding, I believe, and really bonding with the bride at the wedding. And I think it's very much like an inspirational, heartwarming, moving story. So looking forward to reading that and seeing what all of the hype is about. Next up, I am going to be doing my monthly reading vlog, as I always do. I'm not going to share what the theme or topic is for that reading vlog. Feel free to guess down below if you want, but I'll share a couple books that I am considering reading for that vlog. So first of all, we have Rowell's most recent book, Slow Dance. I've definitely mentioned this on my channel before because it's a highly anticipated read for me. And so it's kind of crazy I haven't got to it yet because Rainbow was a favorite author of mine when I was younger. So the fact that she has come out with a new book in the last couple of years, I'm very excited about it. I believe it also takes place at a wedding, actually. So we have a little bit of a theme here with the TBR. And I haven't read the description in a while, but I believe it is a best friends to lovers story and a little bit of a second chance story as well. Oh yeah, and our main protagonist has been married and divorced, and she has kids. So a little bit of an older protagonist, maybe a little bit more of a unique romance story, but I heard good things about this book when it first came out. So I'm finally going to get to it this month in August. Another one I'm considering reading for that vlog is The Grandest Game by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, another anticipated read for me. It is the first book in this new series from her that takes place in the same world as the Inheritance Game series. It is about a competition, which I love competition books. People are competing and I think solving riddles and things like that, similar to the Inheritance Game series, in order to win money. And so I think we followed multiple people. Yeah, 7 tickets, an island of dreams, the chance of a lifetime. So I think there's 7 people in total, but it seems like Lyra, Rohan, and Gigi are gonna be our 3 protagonists. So looking forward to that. And then a couple newer releases. We have Lisa Jewell's new book, Don't Let Him In. She is one of my favorite thriller authors. I just really like how she does her thrillers. So now, what is the description of this one? Let's see. He's the perfect man. It's a perfect lie. Let me guess. It's gonna sound like a very typical domestic thriller. Let's see. Nick Radcliffe is a man of substance and good taste. He has a smile that can melt the coldest heart and a knack for putting others at ease. He's just what Nina Swan needs in her life after her husband's unexpected death. But to Nina's adult daughter, Ash, Nick seems too slick, too polished, and too good to be true. Without telling her mother, Ash begins digging into Nick's past. What she finds is more than unsettling. Martha is a florist living in a neighboring town with her infant daughter and her devoted husband, Alistair. But lately, Alistair has been traveling more and more frequently for work, disappearing for days at a time. When Martha questions him about his frequent absences, he always has a legitimate sounding explanation, but Martha can't shake the feeling that something isn't right. Nina, Martha, and Ash are on a collision course with a shocking truth that is far darker than anyone could have imagined, and all 3 are about to wish they had heeded the same warning. Don't let him in. So definitely about an evil man. Peach, what is she getting up to back there? Even from the description, I can kind of guess what the connection is between the 2 stories. So we'll see. Sometimes her thrillers have been predictable, but they've still been enjoyable even despite that. So we'll see. Hey, stop scratching. I'm gonna move that away. Okay. The last book I'm considering for that vlog is Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid, another favorite author. So she always tends to write books about some sort of career. A lot of times it's like a famous person, right? She has a whole universe now, the Evelyn Hugo universe. But this time we're going to be following some people in NASA, an epic new novel set against the backdrop of the 1980s space shuttle program about the extraordinary levels we go to live and love beyond our limits. Yeah, it's gonna have to deal with the first women scientists to join NASA. And I know that there is a romance. I believe we follow one of the characters who stays on Earth and doesn't go up to space. But yeah, I feel like I haven't heard too many people's review of this yet because it is still a new release. So definitely interested because I normally give for books 5 stars, so yay. Okay, so for the next 3 books, we're gonna try to get them from my physical TBR, or we could just get them from my non-physical TBR. We'll see what ends up happening. I've done this many times in the past where I've used tarot cards to pick my TBR. I know there is a tarot readathon that goes on YouTube. I haven't participated in that more than just one time, so I'm not sure exactly how they do it, but how I do it is that I pull 2 cards, so I have more to work with, and then based on those 2 cards, I pick a book that I think will have the same vibe or plot of what the tarot cards are alluding to. So we're gonna do that 3 times, so it's gonna be a total of 6 cards that we pull. I'm gonna use my Rider tarot deck. This is like the traditional tarot deck. I have a bunch of different fun ones that I normally use, but this year I was trying to learn more about tarot, and I learned it was easier to learn with the traditional Rider tarot deck. So that's why I've been using this one more. Hey, can you stop? Can you stop? Okay, so let's shuffle the cards and see what comes up for the first book. Okay, this card stood out to me, Ace of Cups. So this is one of the cup cards, okay. We have a cup full of water. It's not focusing. Full of water, or water's coming out of it. Okay, looking for our second card. This one kind of jumped out at me. We have the 10 of Wands. We have a man carrying wands. So it's interesting, we have one that's the first in the suit and then one that's the last of the suit. But I'm gonna need to research what these ones mean specifically because I don't have them all memorized yet. Okay, so the Ace of Cups in tarot signifies new beginnings, emotional fulfillment, and the potential for love and creativity. It often represents the start of a new romantic relationship, a deepening of existing connections. Peach! God, oh my God. Or a surge of positive emotions and intuition. It can also symbolize spiritual rebirth and a connection to one's inner self. So this is pretty obvious that it's telling me to read a romance. So I guess that's decided. And then what does the 10 of Wands add to it? Feeling overwhelmed by responsibilities and obligations. It signifies a heavy workload, a sense of burden, and the need to prioritize and potentially delegate tasks. While it indicates achievement and progress, it also highlights the potential for burnout and the importance of self-care. That complicates it a bit. I feel like maybe I should have only picked one card at a time. So basically romance, new connections. Can you hear what Peach is doing back there? Oh my God. But then also a feeling of being overwhelmed and like a burden. Okay, I think I know what I'm gonna pick for this from my physical TBR. Oh, you just got a glance of it. I think I'm gonna go with The Lovely War by Julie Berry. This was talked about in BookTube a number of years ago. I was gifted it by Paige from the PM Reader many years ago, I believe. But I think this would work because obviously it has to deal with love, it's in the title, but also I know that it has to deal with the goddess Aphrodite, who of course is the goddess of love. But it also is a pretty huge book. It looks like it's nearly 500 pages and it's about war. So I feel like that could also fit with this more negative card of the 10 of Wands, because I definitely feel overwhelmed and potentially burdened by the idea of reading a 500-page book. And then also in terms of the actual plot of it, so it seems to be about 3 different people during World War I and II, but it has like a Greek god element to it. So Hazel James, it's 4 people. Hazel James, Aubrey, and Colette, pianist from London, a British would-be architect turned soldier, a Harlem-born ragtag genius in the US Army, and a Belgian orphan with a gorgeous voice and a devastating past. And it's their story as told by goddess Aphrodite, who must spin the tale or face judgment on Mount Olympus. And it's filled with hope and heartbreak, prejudice and passion, and reveals that though war is a formidable force, it's no match for the transcendent power of love. So I think it combines what these 2 cards represent, and it's a good way for me to finally get to this because it's been a while that I've owned this book. So yeah, there we go. There's our first pick. All right, let's see what the cards have in store for us next. Oh, this one jumped out at me a little. The 2 of Swords. It has a man blindfolded and with the 2 swords. I think from when I was studying the cards, this is about like someone kind of being tricked, like that's why he's blindfolded. But we will officially look it up on Google to see for sure. But let's pick the second card. I might start doing just one card in the future. I don't know. What do you think? Oh, a card literally jumped out at me, and it was the Fool, which I think is about, I mean, kind of being foolish because he's like about to walk off a cliff, but I think it's more about like going on a new journey, right? Because he's like trying to go on a journey. But let's Google it again, not just go off my limited knowledge. Okay, Two of Swords in tarot generally represents indecision or a need to make a difficult choice, which makes sense with the Two Swords. The card often depicts a figure usually blindfolded, holding two swords, symbolizing a need to balance logic and intuition while navigating challenging situations. So it could deal with a character that's struggling to make a choice, torn between two, oh, maybe like a love triangle or something. The need to pause and reflect before making a decision. The landscape can represent obstacles and emotional turbulence. Okay, I'm not getting a clear idea from this card, so we're gonna look at the second one. So for the Fool, signifies new beginnings, potential, taking a leap of faith. It represents a journey of self-discovery, emphasizes trusting your instincts and the universe. The Fool encourages embracing optimism, spontaneity, and a carefree spirit. So yeah, like I said, a new journey, whether it's a new career, relationship, or spiritual path, being open, taking a leap of faith, and just having a positive outlook. So what book would fit with these cards? Having a new journey, but also like struggling to make a decision. Okay, I think I found something that I can do. The Getaway List by Emma Lord. Emma Lord is a contemporary romance author. She writes some YA, but also a lot of her books are kind of like a new adult. Like they're pretty young protagonists, but it's like them starting to go to university, finishing high school, that kind of age range. And in this one, we have a main character who's just graduated high school and she doesn't really know what she wants to do with her life. So she decides to go on this big trip. I think it's like a Europe trip. Oh no, it's New York. Okay, but yeah, she packs her bags and goes to New York for the summer. So this definitely makes sense for the Fool. She's going on a new adventure. She doesn't really know what's out there. She's taken this leap of faith to go to New York with her friend, her childhood friend named Tom. So that's going to be the romance. And I mean, I think this also will lead to the Two of Cups because she is trying to decide what to do with her life and I guess needs to make a choice about it. I don't know, pretty typical for main characters, I guess. But the reason it's called the Getaway List is that Tom has helped create this getaway list. And it's a list of all the adventures they've wanted to do together since he moved away. So I think that's fun. I mean, there's been a lot of books out there that have had some sort of little bucket list of the main character trying to finish. I just watched The Life List actually on Netflix and I actually like that movie. So I think it's a fun little premise and it fits the cards enough. I was definitely struggling a little bit to find something, but I think this fits what the cards said as much as they could. Okay, and now for our final pull, we need 2 more cards. Peach has finally settled down, it looks like, thankfully. Okay, this one's jumping out a little. Okay, 8 of Cups. So another one that's having to do with emotions because that's what the cups suit represents is like your emotions and stuff. It has this man walking away from like a stack of the cups. So I feel like it's going to be someone walking away from their past, again, maybe going for something new. That's why this deck is easier to learn from because their images really reflect the meaning of the card. But again, we're gonna Google that and get more detail on what that means. Almost had a card flip out there. Okay, ooh, the High Priestess. Actually, this was the card that almost popped out and then I ended up getting it anyways. Okay, so the High Priestess, we have this woman here. I actually forgot what the High Priestess is. It has to do with like spirituality. Does it have to do with balance of like the B and the J? Okay, let's check. Okay, so the 8 of Cups, leaving behind situations or relationships that no longer serve your best interests. That's kind of what I was saying. And embarking on a journey of self-discovery and spiritual growth. Again, I think a lot of book characters tend to be doing this. It's about acknowledging that something's not working, even if it's not entirely negative, and having the courage to move on to find something more fulfilling. Character going through a change. Then for the High Priestess, so this represents intuition, inner wisdom, and the conscious mind. It signifies a time for introspection, trusting one's instincts, and recognizing hidden knowledge. This card encourages you to look beyond the surface and delve into your inner self for guidance. These cards definitely go together. It's like about a character leaving things behind, having some self-discovery, figuring out what they really want, I would say, right? They're trying to find some knowledge and looking within. So this is not a very specific reading, but let's see. hear me out. This took me a really long time to think of something that fit these cards. I went through my whole physical TBR and nothing really fit. So I've been looking at my Goodreads TBR. I feel like it really lends itself to being the first in a fantasy series. Unfortunately, a lot of the books on my TBR are like the second or third books in fantasy series. So as much as I would like to continue with a series I've already started, I think this card really represents, you know, the beginning of a new journey, a character, you know, just starting to walk away from their past and go on this self-discovery. And I think the High Priestess, it just really is giving fantasy vibes to me, dealing with your intuition. I guess it doesn't have to be, but I just get kind of like fantasy vibes from a priestess. So what I'm thinking is this book that's been on my radar. I feel like I'm really gonna like it. It's Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. And I'm pretty sure it is a standalone fantasy, so at least it won't be like I'm getting myself into this big series. Although now I'm looking at it on a Goodreads. It seems like it has a 1.2 and a 1.5. So I guess it just has little like novellas that go with it, but it isn't like a full-on series. So at least I wouldn't be getting myself into anything too time consuming. But it seems to be about a girl named Elizabeth. She was raised in the Great Library among tools of sorcery. There's a grimoires, and if provoked, there's transformation into grotesque monsters of ink and leather. So anyway, she's grown up around magic, but then there's an act of sabotage that releases the most dangerous grimoire. She gets implicated in the crime, and she's torn from her home to face justice. Forced to turn towards her sworn enemy, Nathaniel, so it's going to be enemies to lovers, which I love. She finds herself entangled in a centuries-old conspiracy. So as her alliance with Nathaniel grows stronger, she starts to question everything she's been taught about sorcerers, about the library, and even herself. For Elizabeth, has a power she could never have guessed and a future she could never have imagined. So I feel like it's about her kind of walking away from this library and all this stuff that she grew up with that she's realizing actually was, I guess, more evil than she thought. There's like some conspiracies going on. So she's definitely at the start of like a little journey, and she's figuring things out about herself, but there's also magic, which I thought fit with the High Priestess. She has to figure out like, what does she really want, I guess, from her life? Who does she really need to trust? So anyways, this is a 5-star prediction for me, so I might go out and actually buy this book before reading it in August, so that's kind of exciting. So that's gonna be my TBR. So we ended up with a fantasy, a contemporary, and then another fantasy. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know down below if you have thoughts on any of these books, anything on my TBR, and if you like when I have the tarot cards help me pick, should I just do one card moving forward, or is it kind of nice having two to give me more to work off of? Let me know your thoughts on that below too. But yeah, I hope you have a great August. Hope you're having a great summer. Be sure to follow me on Instagram if you're not already, and Goodreads to keep up with me between videos. But I'll see you soon in a brand new video next week. Bye!